Okay, so every year in maths we basically do the same content, rounding off, adding, subtracting, expanded notation, data handling, but it gets a little bit more complicated, right? Now and then we add and we throw in a new content like your construction with your compass and things like that. So now we're going to go back to number patterns and we're just going to take it a notch higher. Alright? Because you can't be working at the grade 4 level all the time. We need to now move to a 12-year-old, 11-year-old level, isn't it? Alright. So let's open on page 158. Your minds are open and you're ready for the challenge, hey? Okay. So we're talking about numeric patterns, which are also patterns with numerics, which is numbers, right? So different patterns that we're going to form with numbers. We get two types of patterns, of sequences. We can either call them a constant difference or a constant ratio. And we're going to talk about the meanings of those words now. So let's go to the example on page 158. Before we go to the example, let's read the key words there on the side, right? A constant different sequence. This is a sequence of numbers created by adding or subtracting the same number. You keep adding 5, you keep adding 6, you keep adding 7, or you keep subtracting 50, minus 50, minus 50, minus 50. But every time you add or subtract the same number, that pattern is called a constant difference sequence. Okay? Now a constant ratio is when we create our pattern by multiplying the same number again, 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 or dividing the same number again, again, again. So it's easy to remember. Constant difference is when we keep subtracting or adding, because those two are partners. And then the constant ratio sequence is when we keep multiplying or because those two are partners, isn't it? Right. So let's go to the example at the top of the page. Look at the following 4 sequences or patterns. We have 8, then there's 14, then there's 20, then there's 26. Without calculating, what are we doing to get to the next number? You're adding 6. So if you add 6, add 6, add 6, add 6, what type of sequence is it? A constant difference or a constant ratio? A constant difference sequence. Good. So they tell us this is called a constant difference sequence because the difference between the two numbers, one after the other, is 6. Then I have 1 at B, 3, 9, 27. What am I keep doing to get to my next number there? Times 3. Times 3, times 3, times 3, times 3, times 3. So it's a constant ratio sequence. So we use the word constants because the number we are multiplying by or adding is the same. It's consistent, right? It's constant. Then at C, we have 64. Then it's in the textbook, Sponello. You need to focus, my boy. 64. Then we have 16. Then we have 4. Then we have 1. Each time I am dividing by 4. So this is a constant ratio. Remember, ratio talks about times and divide. Difference talks about minus and plus. Then I have 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7. Now there are 2 patterns here. 1 something, 2 something, 3 something, and 5 something, 6 something, 7 something. So the next 2 numbers in the pattern are 4 and 8. But this is not constant. It's going up, it's coming down. It's going up, it's coming down. Right? So because it's not constant difference, it's not constant ratio. Alright? Because it's changing all the time. So what are we doing for our activity today? It's 26.1 and 26.2. 26.1 says, write the next 3 numbers in each of the following sequences. Next to it, please say if it is a constant difference or a constant ratio. You can use the coding CD for constant difference and CR for constant ratio. So you can go quickly, and you don't have to tell me your rule. You must just fill the spaces in and tell me if it's constant difference or constant ratio. Then, number 2, describe the pattern in each of the following number sequences and state whether it is a constant difference or a constant ratio, or if it's neither. If it's not constant, you can just put a capital N. Okay? C, D, C, R, or N for neither. And then fill in the missing numbers to complete it. So when they say describe the pattern, just give me the rule. Tell me if it's C, D, C, R, or N. And then write it out and fill in 3. Okay? Then for 26.2, you are just going to find the rule. You do not need to redraw these spider diagrams. Just write number 1 and give me the rule. Number 2, give me the rule. Number 3, give me the rule. Number 4, right? Okay. And then also, we said to the rest of the learners that we're going to do exercise 25.4 we're going to do. I'm going to type the corrections out and send it to you guys, okay? Alright, so you can start your work.